Konnichiwa and welcome to Suzuka, one of the most thrilling circuits in Formula One. A track where legends are made, championships are decided, and history is written with every lap. This figure-eight masterpiece has seen it all: drama, heartbreak, and breathtaking wheel-to-wheel battles. It all begins with Turn 1, a high-speed right-hander where Ayrton Senna famously took out Alain Prost in 1990, sealing one of the most controversial title wins in F1 history. The runoff here has seen its fair share of chaos, with cars often running wide under braking. Then it's into the S-curves, a flowing series of left-right flicks that demanded total precision. Get it wrong and you'll be fighting the car all the way through Dunlop Curve, where Fernando Alonso pulled off a stunning save in the wet back in 2013. Next, the Degner curves. Tight, technical, and absolutely ruthless. Michael Schumacher learned this the hard way in 2003 when he ran wide here in qualifying and buried his Ferrari in the gravel. A perfect exit is crucial as the drivers charge under the crossover bridge towards the hairpin at turn 11, where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton went wheel to wheel in 2019, with Max forcing his way through in one of his signature aggressive moves. Then comes Spoon Curve, a double apex left-hander that is all about great exit speed. Kimi Räikkönen knew that better than anyone else in 2005, as he set up one of the most greatest ever comebacks, charging from P17 on the grid to take the lead on the final lap. Down the back straight, we come with the drivers building the speed. They brace themselves for 130R, one of the fastest, most fearsome corners in Formula One. This is where Fernando Alonso sent shockwaves through the paddock in 2015. With an outrageous move around the outside of Michael Schumacher at nearly 320 kilometers an hour. Finally, it comes down to the Casio Triangle chicane, the last real overtaking spot, where Senna and Prost famously collided in 1989, triggering one of the F1's most controversial title-deciding moments. Get the braking right here, and you might just snatch a victory at the final lap. With passionate fans, unpredictable weather, and history of unforgettable moments, Suzuka never disappoints. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Japanese Grand Prix. Well, as we see the drivers coming out for the outlap, 5 drivers are out of 7. They're just weaving their tyres. Dominique, GM, O-level 7. Most of these drivers are new here, even though we've done our first race. It is because of the PS servers going down on the last race, so we're glad to have PS drivers back, as well as giving them double points because of them missing the race. As they're coming down into the back straight now, just weaving the tyres back and forth, back and forth. Of course, everyone will be using the soft compound tyre as it will be the grippiest. We come on board now with Dominique on the back straight, coming into 130R, of course not on the throttle. Well, as we come around 130R now, I'd like to introduce my partner that will be replacing Joseph for this week's Grand Prix. Hello, Stephen.
Hi Jake, thanks for letting me get involved with this. This is exciting. You talked about the unpredictable weather, but it's beautiful and sunny at Suzuka today, which I think the drivers will appreciate after the wet weather of the race last week. This is a really significant circuit. For those of you, as Jake pointed out, Kimi Räikkönen, that was quite an amazing comeback in 2005, starting 17th on the grid. We've got 7 races today, but that gives encouragement for people that don't perform necessarily well in qualifying, but they can still gain the places during the race. You just got to stay in touch with the leading field.
Yeah, as we're coming around on the Degner curves, it is a very tricky double right-hander. Exit is what you really need. As you come around into the hairpin, heavy braking zone, 6th to 2nd gear in just an instant. Late apex just to maximise that traction coming out there. Avoid oversteer by modulating throttle, careful on the corner exit. Coming up on 200R to spoon curve, he does have some traffic in front of him, but it should be fine, shouldn't hold him up. Gets the wheel dipping on the grass, but doesn't cost him that much time. You can't really tell to compare to the other drivers because he is the first to cross the line. Coming on the back straight now, not afraid to go flat out through 130R with this year's new handling physics because they're just too unrealistic, too grippy, but doesn't scare any drivers here because of course it is an online game. Coming into Casio Triangle, it's all about exit speed. He's taking all those curbs to gain all the time, come across the line, use all those ERS and DRS because it's not raining this time, and it's a 1:28.7.
Great, 3 drivers now registering times in their opening laps. It really is a technical circuit, this one. It's one of the most technical, but also one of the most rewarding tracks in Formula One. It's a combination, as you say, of high-speed corners, tight chicanes. It's a unique figure of 8 layout as well. And I'm not sure if we get a view of the Ferris wheel from this angle. There you go. There's the Ferris wheel. That's one of the best vantage points to see the race at Suzuka.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to pay for that, but it's definitely one of the best ways to watch the Grand Prix because you can probably view most of the track as we see here. Melforce coming to pits, not setting a lap. I don't know what happened there. Maybe just deciding wasn't a good time, but you never know. Could come back with a better lap. We might agree with him to see that later in the qualifying session. But as we see here, just most drivers coming in for their in-lap. One driver out for the out-lap, I should say, as we see on board with Coconut just weaving, taking those tyres around the dumb loop curb, just doesn't really care what he's driving because it's not going to cost him any time because he is on his in-lap, or out-lap, sorry, here coming into the Degner curves, just taking it nice and calm, not to put any grain and unnecessary wear on those tyres. So,
talking of tyres, you've raced this circuit many times, Jake. What would your strategy be going into this?
Because there is a lot of tyre wear around here and it's a 50% race, I would go for the medium to hard compound tyre if it does stay dry, but because of Japan being a very unpredictable weather kind of track, it's just hard to decide really, because we put the settings to unpredictable weather and forecast accuracy to like minimum, I should say, I've got the word, but so drivers don't know really what's about to come towards them.
So the drivers shouldn't get comfortable with the sunny conditions. The rain could come at any moment. The thing that stands out for me is the heavy braking going into the hairpin. That is probably going to wear the tyres quite significantly. Yeah,
if there was also brake wearing for brake, that would also cause a lot of problem, but not really here around an F124. But as we start a lap with Coconut, funny name that is, but coming on the normal straight, I should say, I really forgot the name, but coming into first turn, approaching an 8th gear, hitting speeds of over 200 miles an hour, trail braking to first curve as well, after second curve, coming into the S curves right here, flowing high-speed corners, the car's balance with the rhythm, you don't want to mess up, as he does do a bit of oversteer there, but shouldn't cost him much. Coming into the Dunlop curve, I don't know if that's traffic, it's going to be close, and I think they've made contact.
Oh gosh.
Both teammates have made contact, and I don't know what's really happened there. Dory Beast and Coconut, miscommunication there, because they are on a call I have seen on the Discord. I don't know what's going to happen there on the chat, but I don't think it'll be very nice indeed.
So Dominic is dominating things at the moment in the Ferrari. It's actually a great track, Suzuka, for Ferrari. Michael Schumacher, back in 2000, victory at this circuit, won the first championship for Ferrari, ending a 21-year drought. I don't know if any of the drivers will remember that race back in 2000. but it was a massively significant one for Ferrari and also for Michael Schumacher, who of course went on to win many, many championships with that particular constructor.
Yeah, so there are, it's easy to point out, there are many heavy braking zones that require precision to avoid overheating on the brakes. Beagle was just an example there, going on a bit on the grass, locking up all those brakes. I don't know if he's going to go for a lap. No, he's coming in. Both RBs not having a great session. Even though Coconut in the RB is in third place, he would have definitely improved on that timing board if he didn't have contact from his teammate. I don't know if that'll have to be awarded to the stewards to decide any decisions for the race, but I think it was just miscommunication and nothing really to go there because they are both teammates, so not really a disadvantage to any other drivers in different teams. Well, as we see, the RB coming to the pits, Coconut did want to finish his lap, so he's just on his in-lap now, just taking it easy. I don't know what he's doing, but you do have to feel for him there after having such a good lap, I think, and just getting it ruined on the dumb loop curve, where Fernando Alonso did that amazing overtake in 2005, but that's very unlucky. As now we will come on board with Melforce. I don't know what lap he's on. I think that is his in-lap. We'll try to find a driver that is on his
Well,
fast lap.
Melforce is desperate to get a time on the board, but with 9 minutes remaining still in Q1, there's time for people to reassess, look at their strategies, work out where they can gain those valuable seconds. At the moment, the field is separated by just under 7 seconds, with Dominique at 1 minute 28, all the way down to Dory Beast in P6 with a 1:35.392. So a couple of them now back out on their outlaps, looking to improve on those times. But 1:28.749 is the time to beat.
Yeah, as we've seen from the past race, Dominique is the most dominant, as well as Coconut couldn't keep with him because it was raining conditions, really hard to tell which driver was the best of that Grand Prix. But if it does stay sunny, which I really doubt, we will definitely decide which driver is the fastest out of top 7 that we have driving for today. And I think that I see Coconut going on another lap on his used tyres. I don't know what he's trying to do. Maybe just an extra lap just to keep that last tyre for the more advantage grip. But he's coming around Dunlop curve now. This is where the accident happened, but definitely you can see clear driving there as we see an Alpine in front of him, like 10 seconds on the hairpin. Coming into Degner curves now, just traction is all you need, and there you'll be perfect. Coming into the hairpin now, heavy braking zone, 6th to 2nd gear. Late apex so you can get that amazing traction. He does take an early apex, could be a better option, you never know for qualifying. Coming upon 200R to spoon curve now, it is an easy left kink taken flat out. As we see here, we have some traffic ahead, but the driver of the Alpine will let him past. Good sportsmanship.
That was good
there.
driving. That was great driving.
Yeah, very good. Unlike the contact that happened earlier, but as you can see, he has a good exit. But I repeated it a lot of times in Silverstone. Everyone's just overusing their ERS. They're just running out because.
Well, he was 900ths under there, so he could come in with a good time here if he gets the rest of Sector 3 right. He comes past the Ferris wheel.
What will it be? Well, improved on improved. I didn't actually see if that was improved on his actual time, but definitely not an improvement on his time board time compared to the other drivers.
Yeah, it was 2/10 down, I think, on that lap.
Yeah.
But still, a confident lap time going in.
Yeah, as we see his teammate, I don't know what he's trying to do there, but luckily we put on reduced damage so it wouldn't do anything to his race, nearly making contact again with his teammate, so I don't know what's happening there, but it's definitely creating some drama around here in Japan. Trying to find a driver that's actually on his lap. I think we found one, the Alpine driver that let Coconut pass, or not, no, he's just staying on hot lap mode, so that's an interesting way to save battery. I wonder if we're going to see Dominique. He's let the driver past of the Red Bull Hog Club. He did tell us on the Discord server that his online service did run out just before the race, but he luckily bought it in time so he can attend. He was very worried he wasn't going to join, but just managed to come back in time. As now we're on board with Dominique, the fastest driver of every single driver out of the 7 that we have driving for us today, coming through the S curves. Very tricky. If you mess up oversteer, understeer, you would be going straight off into the gravel. So very technical there. As we see a Red Bull driver, I think he's just impeded.
Gosh,
he's impeded
okay.
Ferrari.
Oh, dearie me. He was on for a good lap there as well, coming through the Dunlop curve. That was a long left-hander. Need to take it flat out in 6th or 7th. But when you've got a driver that pulls in front of you, you know, that's gonna cause problems, and it did there for Dominique. But he's still our leader. 1 minute 28.749. Just under 5 minutes of Q1 remaining now. Those Degner curves, real tricky right-hander requiring hard braking, and that's dropping 2 gears from 7th to 5th. And you'll see a lot of the drivers going around here running ever so slightly wide, but the key there is to obviously not touch the gravel trap, which we've seen already a couple of drivers do in this first qualifying session.
Yeah, it's just because we do have contact on, not really that many ghosting happening. It's just been too much traffic for the drivers. Even though we're only with 7, I just couldn't imagine having 20 on the track at this moment. It's too much contact, too many blocking, too much impeding. So it's very
you can
hard
ask
to tell.
Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost about colliding around this circuit. They're obviously famous coming together around the Casino Triangle chicane. Ended up handing the title to Prost. It was just so instrumental.
It was just surprising. If anyone has watched the new Senna series, they do document both crashes that happened at turn 1 and at the Casino Triangle chicane. So it's just feels like a bit of a comeback, or like an aggressive comeback for the championship after crashing both times in both championships. As we see GML 7, don't really know how to pronounce that quickly, but
we'll call him Gmol.
Gmol, that's a good name for him. Letting drivers past, and I've just seen, thank you Douglas for the £1 donation. Thank you.
That will keep the lights on for another minute.
Yeah, thank you very much, Douglas. Trying to find more drivers that are on their lap. I don't know if that Story Beast on the lap. Don't think so. Yeah, definitely won't be, especially if they're exploring the grass. Very tight track, I should say, compared to Silverstone. Silverstone's a very flat, not really many elevation changes, but just very open indeed. As we see in Japan though, very big elevation changes with not much space. So if you just mess up, if you don't even put enough downforce on the rear wing, you might be spinning off into the barriers like Carlos Sainz in 2022.
It's great that all 7 drivers now have registered a time, and there's just enough time left in the qualifying session to register more, with Coconut and Potato Pilot coming out on outlaps. Dominique has also decided to go out and try and increase the lead that driver has currently over the rest of the field, which is just under a second to Gmol 7. And then in P3 is Coconut, followed by Potato Pilot on 4. We've had a spin there. Melforce is just, I don't know, maybe having a bit of fun before the end of the Q1 session, but that brought a yellow flag in sector 2. Don't think it would have impacted any of the drivers behind him on that particular lap. So he's got away with that one.
As we see now, just, Melforce coming into the chicane, taking it nice and easy for his in-lap, I think that is. Is he coming into the pits? Yeah, he is, coming past the Ferris wheel there. I think that was his last lap. I don't really know how much time is left on the board, but...
There's not much at all. We're under a couple of minutes to go, yeah. So we've got almost 60 seconds left of Q1 now. So shaped up pretty much, I think, as it's gonna stick now for the race. But saying that, you've got Dominique, who in P1 at the moment has an opportunity to lay down an even quicker time.
Yeah, as we see now, most drivers, or just under half the drivers in the pits. Bog Club, I don't know what, is that a lap? It is a lap, just improved on his time by over a second, but doesn't improve on position change. So we don't know how great his race will be, because he is the slowest out of the pack, but anything can change in Japan with safety cars weather changes, so it's going to be very, very tight.
Especially with such a long kind of straight down to that first corner. It's going to be super exciting. They obviously won't be at full speed like they would be on the actual kind of race on laps 2, 3 and so on, but even so, it's going to be an exciting break down to that kind of 100-meter point on the first turn.
So as we see Dominique coming through the Degner curves, or about to come on the Degner curves, as we see Coconut disqualified from the session, parking in a dangerous location. I don't know if they'll put him back to the grid, because he is one of the and he's been disqualified. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know if I saw him.
Oh gosh, okay, was that Dominique taking a little bit of a spin there? These drivers need to take some care. With 2.5 minutes remaining here before we draw a close to Q1, a bit of excitement on the circuit. We've already had G-Mole with P2, Potato Pilot's on a lap at the moment, so could improve. That's probably a driver worth following, actually, Potato Pilot, just to see if they're kind of registering a fast time. No, I think they were probably caught up in some of the fun going on around the circuit there. In Sector 2 there was 9 seconds behind their best time.
So I think that's all drivers concluding their times, as we see Dominique making that mistake coming into the hairpin. So he's just going to come into the pits calm and collectively, and I think that's going to be the results for the qualifying, as we see Coconut just disqualifying. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he left the session. I didn't really see. He's just trying to show off there, a bit of spinning around.
I hope the teams have enough time to put these cars back together again.
Yeah, a lot of fixing is going to have to be made here. Oh.
How long will they have to set their race strategy between qualifying and the race?
It can depend, because you're given, like, I think just infinite amount of time really, until till somebody readies up. So someone could be annoying and just ready up straight away, not giving enough time for other drivers to set up their strategies.
There's a few bumps coming out of some of these turns, which I think is unsettling some of the drivers.
I don't know what's happening here, but that should conclude qualifying here, as it does. So top 3 will be Dominique. We've got his name, as we were going to nickname.
G-Mole.
G-Mole, there you go. And then Potato Pilot in McLaren. And then Dory Beast, Melforce, and the Hog Club, and Coconut, surprisingly taking a disqualification and starting in 7th.
We're confident that Coconut still gets to start the race. He wasn't disqualified from the whole event, I hope.
Yeah.
But looking at the field, there's only 4 seconds. I say only 4 seconds. That's quite a long time in Formula One, of course. But I think in this race and what could potentially happen, that could keep things tight.
Yeah, as now we are loading into the race. I don't know how long it's going to take, because driver of the Hog Club does have some dodgy internet connections, as we saw in the lobby. So we don't know how long it's going to take, because we did have an American driver last time around in Silverstone that did delay the race by quite a bit. But I think we won't have that problem here, because as we see in the top left corner, everything looks like it's loading properly. So just drivers waiting to make their setup.
I'm not sure any of our drivers selected Suzuka as their favourite track. Why is that? It's a great track.
I think it's just too technical for them, maybe. You never know. Drivers were practicing all week, as I was told in our Discord server. So I have some high hopes, some very, very close racing, but I have driven with some of these drivers before in our community races. And if you do want to join community races, you can go in the description of our Twitch, but I'll talk about that later, as we come with 4, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go in Japan. It's looking like a good start from Dominique, but even a better start from G-Mole. It's going 3 wide into turn 1. What is it going to be? Drivers on the grass, everywhere's going on the grass. Red Bull driver going wide.
A bit of contact.
Dominique's gone wide. Even the RB of Dory Beast has gone wide. It's going too wide. There's contact with Melforce and Potato Pilot at the back, and Melforce has gone off, and there's been contact. Melforce has gone straight into the barriers, and that's a big crash.
I was going to say Melforce would have had to have given that place back, but he's lost it anyway with contact as you rejoin the track.
As now we come onto the Degner curves, it looks like the Ferrari's going to dive down the inside, but it's going to be smart and take those diagonal turns calmly, but he's been a bit too fast on the throttle there with his traction just spinning everywhere. As we see lockups everywhere into the hairpin, because it's very easy to lock up those front tyres, especially because you also want to keep your brake bias as high as possible on the percentage, so you don't lock up those rails and spin off into the barriers.
As I predicted, it was all to play for as we went down into that first corner, and Gmol got it absolutely perfect. Dominique has slipped down to P5, but he'll be patient, he'll be taking his time, and he'll work out when he can start making those places back.
As now we see on board with Coconut, he's definitely not going to make a move around 130R. Everyone's going to take it flat out because you will lose time if you don't. And yep, just going to stay behind Potato Pilot now. We did see dominance from Dominique in the rain, but in Silverstone, sorry. But yeah, I don't know what's happened there. I think it's just a bad start, contact everywhere. Everyone going just 2 wide, 3 wide into turn ones and 2s. Sorry. As we see Coconut getting a better exit than Potato Pilot. He can't catch up though, because these are very tricky turns to take overtakes on. It's just like an open-ish, and Potato Pilot's been hit from behind. Close one there. Oh, and he's spun. He's gone off.
I think they'll be taking a close look at that, and there could be some penalties coming some drivers' way there. That was pretty careless.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. And now we have Melforce catching up to the pack. Well, not really, but catching up to another car. We weren't expecting that because of him spinning into the first turn. But
the way things are going at the moment, you've got Dory Beast and you've got Gmol racing away from the rest of the field. It's down to a 1.7 second gap to Coconut in P3 at the moment. And of course the magic number is to stay under a second, because otherwise there's a danger that you'll slip even further. And Coconut has achieved that, closing now on Dory Beast. Look at that, going round. Does that mean that Dory Beast has a problem there? Slipping down to P4 from P2.
It's looking very close. Can Dominique make the double overtake on the RBs, and there's more contact? It's just reminded me of Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna's crash, but he's going wide again. Dory Beast just not being respectful with any room given to Dominique there, as we see both RBs in second and third place defending from Dominique. I feel like they're just playing a strategic game here. They're trying to hold him up, but as we see Dominique trying to go down the inside, and there's just been more contact. It's just too hard for these drivers to make any racing moves around the outside and inside around Japan.
Well, Gmol is out there in P1 completely by themselves at the moment, but there's an absolute race happening in P2, 3 and 4, and the rest of the field is a significant distance back with Hog Club, Potato Pilot and Melforce in P5, 6 and 7.
You can see just here, after these past 3 laps, Dominique just can't make a move around anywhere on the track past these RB cars now. They're just, I don't know if they're doing too aggressive defending or they're just being pretty good with their defending. But can we see Dominique go down the inside? Will Dory Beast do any defending? But he does defend the inside. Dominique going back around the outside to get that better exit on the traction, but just too fast on the throttle there, really.
Yeah, got to be careful. It's a relatively short race at 27. They've got to take a pit stop. It's probably too early to be talking about that.
But he's going down the inside at 130R.
It was an aggressive move. I'm not sure that Coconut maybe even saw that he was there, and if so, he decided to ignore him.
He's just pushed him off there. It's reminded me a bit of Max Verstappen with Dory Beast, but he's just going at it no matter what. It's getting closer and closer, really, as we see Dominique and Dory Beast having a big rivalry here. Will it act like 1989 into turn 1? But no. Dory Beast lets Dominic pass. Oh, not really lets him pass, but manages him to let Dominique pass. But now the Ferrari...
Dominic was late on the brakes there, which got him edged in front of Dory Beast, and now he's racing away.
Yeah. Dory Beast definitely helped Coconut with holding up that Ferrari, but that Ferrari of Dominique is now catching up back to the front pack of Coconut. But now we see Gmol making a good impression for his first race after coming back because of the PS servers being fixed. He's already 2 seconds ahead of the pack, or just second place really. I think he is the person to win today, and we see there's been a crash.
Safety car's out.
Safety car's out. That's changed everything. That's changed all the strategies.
I was about to say, what we witnessed in qualifying and in the first 4 laps of this race, there was a big suggestion that we'll see the safety car at some point because of the amount of carbon fibre we've seen flying off these Formula One cars, and that's exactly what's happened.
As I think GMR might have made a mistake just before the safety car, which is going to lose him a lot of time, as we see him now having a gap less than a second between him and third place. But it's time to see now, will he lead everyone into the pits or make a mistake and even stay out? And he does come into the pits. Yeah. I think every driver is that. And that's a 10-second time penalty for GMR.
Oh my goodness me. Oh, that was just like, that's painful to watch, isn't it? He led everyone in and picked up the penalty, and that's going to cost him dear. That's going to move him down, 4 places.
3 10-second time penalties for 3 drivers. I did not expect that in Japan because it is a pretty easy pit lane to slow down for. But as we see now in the chat, Venny, the race director, I don't think you'll have too much work to do there because we did see them overspeed, so there's nothing really to be done there. But now Coconut, Potato Pilot and Dominique have a great chance of winning here because they don't have the penalty. Trying to look now how many stops, but the front 2 haven't made a stop, so I feel like the best contender for the race win now is Coconut because he has stopped.
He hasn't got the penalty, has he? He's the other 3 drivers that have stopped have picked up 10-second penalties, so you're absolutely right, Jake. Coconut's in the driving seat.
Yeah, could win his first race for in FTR, I should say, for the RB racing team. As we see everyone closing into the pack, Hog Club coming in as well. But let's see what every single driver is for their tyres. As we see now, everyone that has boxed has moved into the hards. That is a smart choice, but because of a early safety car, there might even be another safety car and people might be boxing again. So I feel like Dominique and Potato Pilot are at the disadvantage here. Even without a penalty, it will put them back in the pack later on in the Grand Prix.
I was about to joke that there's rain on the radar, but I'm not sure anyone would believe me.
Too unpredictable around here in Japan. No one can really tell, not even us, because we just can't tell at all.
Well, they have typhoons as well. That would cause all sorts of trouble, I would imagine, on a Formula One circuit. They've been racing here for more than 60 years. It started as a test track for the Honda team, and they used to take motorcycles and Formula One cars around here, and then it was introduced onto the Formula One race circuit. I think it started in the 80s, so it's been on the calendar for quite a while now.
So as we see now, Potato Pilot is staying out, but Dominique did come in, so that's going to leave him a lot of time. If he did box earlier, he could have been in a better fighting position for first place. But we have seen now Coconut in the chat, even though he is driving, has said disqualification to a potential P1. So I can agree with you on that one, Coconut. It's going to be close, and you do have a chance of winning. You have the best chance out of every single driver on the grid today.
All I would say is, Coconut, don't text when you're driving.
That would be very bad, because I remember you doing that last race, but I suspect you were definitely pausing and giving it to the AI. As we see now, Melforce leaving the session in frustration after that crash. We don't know if he'll send in a clip for the stewards to see, or just anyone to see really, because stewards can't really do anything about reviving them back onto the track. But don't really know what happened there, because we couldn't see. But everyone now packed up close together. Don't know how many laps left on the safety car, but it's going to be a very close safety car restart.
Yeah, still 21 laps remaining at Suzuka. And the great thing about the introduction of a safety car is it gives everyone a chance still. Because once it restarts, once that safety car pulls in, it's everyone going for P1 again. And as we say, we've got 3 drivers there that need to serve 10-second penalties. So that's obviously going to make an impact. But that could change the decisions that they take on the track as well. Maybe we'll see them taking even greater risks than they would do if they weren't looking to serve penalties. So I think, we've had some contact already this race. We can probably expect lots more contact between now and when the checkered flag comes down.
Well, it's getting closer to the checkered flag as we see the safety car coming into the pit at the end of this lap. Potato Pilot will have the advantage on the grippier, even though older tyres is still, I feel like, a better option than the colder, hard tyres. But he's coming around the last chicane now. It's going to be close. If it's going to be as close as the starting lights,
Here we go.
this will be a very crazy one to watch. As it's green lights, everyone's gone past the finishing line, so all moves can be made.
Ooh,
but that is
contact
very
there.
aggressive defending right there. As we see Gmal going down the inside, side by side, into the second curve, and it's going to be close. Potato Pilot's going to try to hang on around the outside. They're going to go side by side into the S-curves, and he's been hit from behind. I haven't seen what's happened there, and his race has just been ruined in an instant after restart, and that's just, he doesn't contend for the race win.
Yeah, Gmal lost some traction coming out of that corner, which set him off course. And then, obviously, Potato Pilot tried to take advantage, and we think got knocked from behind.
Yeah, it's gone wide for Gmal. He's just fumbled it after making that good overtake on Potato Pilot. All race contenders just been ruining their race after the race restart, and it's going 3 wide on the exit of the hairpin. We're going to go on the broadcast camera here because there's just too much to see as we're going 3 wide here around Japan. It's just too much. We can't have that much for widescreen here as we're going side by side, I feel like. No, Dominique going around the outside, getting that better traction on the back straight, coming into 130R. It's going to look close for the next straight.
You have to remind us in a minute who still has to pit in this race, because that's going to determine the final places here when some are going to be forced back in to make some changes. They are neck and neck going through the curve there. It's almost 3 abreast. Wow.
Gmal just trying to hang around that outside. I have raced with Dory Beast before in those community races, as I tried to talk earlier, but the lights came up too quickly. He is a very aggressive defending driver, just reminding me of Max Verstappen. I don't know if he'll make any diving down the inside moves, but I feel like he's had a bit of questioning defending there after making a lot of contact at the start and through these laps of the race. But now most drivers settling in their places after Melforce crashing out to bring out the safety car, which has slowed down the race. But now everything's back up and coming, as we see only one driver not making their decision to pit.
Oh, just going wide there, Dory Beast. Oh, and again, on 2 consecutive corners, the race directors enabled DRS, so that could be a key factor in the remaining 19 laps of the race.
As we see now, I need to stop saying as we see now, even though it's obvious, but there's just so much to look at. I can't really think what I'm saying because there's been so much drama, only in 8 laps, not even halfway through the race. But Dory Beast just keeps on going wide through those turns. It's going to compromise all his exit speed, as we've seen Coconut getting saving up all that ERS. I think he has an advantage on saving up that ERS in that battery. He's going to go around the outside on 130R, but goes too wide, so can't really match that pace of Dory Beast out in front. He's going to stay behind, but just hit the rear diffuser of Dory Beast. But now he will have DRS, the better ERS advantage. Can he get around Dory Beast at turn 1?
Dominique registering the fastest lap of the race. He's gone around.
He's gone around at turn 1. I feel like now, because I think he is the faster out of both RBs, he will be going out in front, hunting for that second and first place. So now most drivers are being split by over a second, because Dory Beast is he's losing time. I don't know if he has any damage after all that contact he's made, but definitely you can tell Coconut is the faster driver, so I don't think we'll see any dramatic moves for quite some time now.
That low camera angle is fantastic. It shows the kind of the technical challenge of Suzuka as you kind of sweep left and right through the curves and then into these pretty brutal left and right turns. A bit of around the hairpin where you're losing some of the speed. But the field is kind of settling now. Dominique qualifying in P1, went down to P5 if I remember, but is now back leading the race without the 10-second penalty. So looking good at this stage, but as I say, everything is still very much unpredictable at Suzuka.
Yeah, everyone's getting comfortable now in their position. It's going to be a relaxing few laps for the drivers, because I don't see any safety car opportunities happening soon with definitely no drivers being close together, because most of our drivers here in FTR are very aggressive drivers, and they will go 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, no matter what corner it is around Japan here.
And they'll need to be aggressive now because none of them are in DRS range, which makes this significantly difficult to obviously make up places. But no one's at a disadvantage as a result of that. So it's going to be down to driver skill. It's a real true test of driver skill around this circuit as well. You know, one little error, as we've seen already in the opening 10 laps of this race, can cost you dear.
As we've seen from past real-life races, tyres do degrade here very, very much because of all the turns. As we see Dory Beast just going wide again, he's just going to be losing time and time and time again as he keeps on going wide. But it just looks like he's in contender for... I think that's 4th place currently, but safety cars will bring in more cars into the pit stop because most drivers do want to pit because of the tyre degrain.
Well, what about Potato Pilot? They're 9 laps on the medium tyre compound. At what point does Potato Pilot come in?
Yeah, Dominique, after doing a questioning pit stop on a questioning lap, he has been on the comeback, getting 4 seconds on 2nd place. Currently in 1st, and talking about him, he's just crashed it. He's just crashed into the wall.
He's lost. Yeah, he's down. Oh gosh, he's stuck there in the entrance to the pit lane.
Yeah, I've seen a tyre.
Oh my goodness me, Dominique is out of the race. We'll be looking back at that incident with interest, but our race leader is out, and our championship leader.
Wow, that is a big hit for Ferrari, because he is one of the only Ferrari drivers to take part in this race. And now it's just another 10-second penalty for Dory Beast, which is just going to ruin his race. It's not looking good, except for Potato Pilot and Coconut. But only 3 laps after having green flag racing, I don't know what tyre strategy drivers are going to be using here. It's all over the place.
I'm not sure the tyre strategy really counts at this stage. It's about keeping on the circuit and getting to the finish line. Because, you know, we started with 7, we're down to 5 now, and it's potentially anyone. Gmo finds himself leading the race here at Suzuka, has a 10-second penalty as well, which would keep him in P2 by my calculations, because Potato Pilot is some 10 or 11 seconds off the front.
Yeah, I was surprised the drivers that had 10-second time penalties didn't box, but we do see just one driver of the Hog Club just pitting to get rid of that 10-second. Dory Beast did that as well, but did gain another 10 seconds, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was another safety car which will allow him to box for another 10 seconds. But
is this a bit of nerves? It's the high tension of the race that you kind of put into the pits. You make these simple mistakes, and before you know it, you've come in for a strategic pit change, only to then add another 10 seconds.
I just feel bad for the team principals, because it might look easy out there, but I can definitely tell from commentating this race so far, it does not look easy at all. Even though it is a racing simulator here in F124, it's definitely
coming in with some speed there. That was some late braking by Dory Beast, but some great driving as well, right up onto the back of Potato Pilot. This following into the pits.
Dory Beast trying to get rid of that X.
Ooh, that could be costly.
I don't think any time penalty for now. I don't think they'll be added at the end of the race with Vinny R. Stewart for FTR. I think everything's going to be fine. Everyone's just trying to be cautious to not get another 10-second time penalty. And Coconut, to reply to your question, what happened to Dominique? He tried to enter the pits, but crashed into the pit wall. So, very interesting way to get out of the Grand Prix after having such a great comeback. But Gmo is the only person now to have a 10-second time penalty, so I thought most drivers were out of contention for 1st place, but now everyone's back in for it, and Gmo's the only driver with a 10 seconds, so everything's going to look crazy in a second after the safety car restart.
I think we need to hear from Dominique to find out what happened to Dominique there, because it was just off camera, so we couldn't see. We don't know. We presume that it was an error that he made, rather than anyone else involved. But we'll hear from the driver later.
there's going to be a lot of clips, I think, sent into our Discord server after all those crashes. Very hectic race so far. We expected or thought that there wouldn't be many safety cars because we were in full wet conditions last time out in Silverstone. So I think maybe with the new drivers crumbling under pressure there, even though the two people that have crashed out are drivers that have already raced, so I guess I have nothing really to say on that part.
Well, they've got points on the board, so I suppose at least it's not them going for their first points of the championship. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to talk through what happens if people want to make appeals and send in clips for people to view.
And now Dory Beast catching up to the pack. I think there's an extra lap. No, I think that's going to be safety car in. I think we have a glitch on our UI.
They're really holding back from the safety car there. Gmol is controlling the pace going into this, which potentially is a very late acceleration across the start-finish line.
Yeah, safety car is in this lap. We just have a glitch on the UI, which will stay there for the rest of the race annoyingly. But it looks like it's going to go 3 wide. Again, we're going to go on board with these drivers from the view of the back, and there's more contact. Red Bull sent into the wall. They're 2 wide going to second turn. I don't think that's going to end up well. 2 wide again. McLaren staying in front. Both RB and Red Bull making all that contact difference. It's just...
Oh, Dory Beast is gained a place there.
More contact again. The Hog Club just thought he was making a comeback, then gets hit from behind. Got to feel for all the drivers that have been making mistakes because they've been driving for their life out here, really.
Well, Gmol is really taking advantage of the restart because he knows that he's got to put a massive few laps in here because he still has to serve a 10-second penalty. So he needs to get out of DRS range, which isn't back in force at the moment. But as you can see, he's already, 1.4 seconds up on Potato Pilot. He needs to build up, as we know, at least probably a 20-second buffer to go in and serve a penalty, or that will get added across the start-finish line. So he could keep racing.
I guess drama was expected for here around Japan because it's a very technical, difficult track. Any mistakes in the S-curves or really any turn can cause your race to be finished. But I wasn't really expecting a crash to happen in front of the pit lane wall that happened earlier with Dominique. So very surprising drama here in Japan.
So DRS has just been enabled by race control. I think a lot of the mistakes we're seeing is people overcorrecting as they come into or out of a curve, and that's really costly on this circuit as well. You can't afford to be kind of rough on those overconnections because, as you'll see, you'll just simply spin off.
Yeah, especially on that opening lap after the green flag for the safety car. Drivers on the hard tyres, I don't think they warmed up their tyres enough, so definitely oversteer with having too much or not enough traction going on that throttle, just causing them to spin off into the gravel and into the distance, just like how Schumacher did in 2002, going off into the gravel and ruining his qualifying session, as we see Coconut down the inside of Potato Pilot.
So actually, the drivers off the back of the restart need to be a bit patient, don't they, to build up the temperature in the tyres before they start trying to take places back. But I don't think that message is getting through to our drivers. I think they're just going full steam ahead. And what it does is it creates super exciting racing for the spectator. And I'm loving being part of this.
Yeah, especially I think you should be around here for another week as we have Joseph on holiday. I think he said he was in Turkey. Nice place to be. As we see now, Potato Pilot down the inside. That was a questioning move as he goes off the track, taking those 4 tyres off the white line. But Coconut is going to try to make a comeback after being overtaken, I don't think fairly. But Potato Pilot also does have that DRS advantage after making that overtake lately. But now we have Coconut down the inside again.
Gosh, there's just so much contact, but brilliant driving there. Potato Pilot just edging out Coconut.
This will be a big rivalry as we had with Dory Beast, Potato Pilot and Melforce last time in Silverstone. But are they going to go too wide?
Surely there's not room for 2 around this. Oh,
just
goodness me.
barely. that will definitely be clipped to the steward of Veni at the end of the race, because that was very tight, maybe unfair, but it looked fair enough for me on our side on this broadcast commentating camera. So it's going to be a close one.
Well,
And
they're going to
hard
be
to decide.
up all night viewing these video clips to kind of ascertain who may need to be punished with some points deductions, or indeed could be rewarded if they were penalised unfairly.
Well, as we come to cross the line and come around halfway through the race, it's been pretty hectic out there for the drivers. Really,
Yeah.
just like too many safety cars maybe for them to expect. Tyre strategies off the roof, just too many to decide from. It's going to be progressively getting more and more difficult to decide what tyre to change, if it is possible to, because of how close the pack is together.
Well, my maths isn't great, but with Gmol 7 still needing to serve a 10-second penalty, that's going to push him down to P4. It means probably finishing ahead of Hog Club if things stay as they are at the moment. But that's why Gmol is trying to get as much ahead of Coconut as possible. And you can see that time going up as well. It's gone up from 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, to now 2.6 seconds, the gap between first and second.
Well, I thought Gmo was going to have the fastest lap, but he does, out of the drivers that are still alive in this race, because Dominique, the fastest driver, did crash. And I don't know if he'll be awarded with that fastest lap extra point, but it's hard to decide when you don't really know much of the rules for F1, because it's very complicated, much to decide there. But again, we'll look at the gap with the drivers, still over a second for each driver, so not many DRS opportunities to overtake.
Gmol now up to 3 seconds ahead of Coconut, who's in P2 there. So really stretching the lead at the front of this pack, and that's going to be super helpful a bit later on. Hog Club down in P5, bringing up the rear. But you know, there's still 11 laps to go of this Suzuka Grand Prix, and that means there could be one, possibly two safety cars that we could see between now and when the checker flag comes down.
Yeah, Potato Pilot now catching up, getting those tyres up to grips now, getting closer and closer progressively to Coconut now. Could be a decider for second place later on in the race, except if there's another safety car, which we are expecting really around here in Japan, if it happens nearly every 3 laps or so after a green flag restart.
I wouldn't mind looking at the number of laps that some of these drivers have done on their tyres, just to see whether, you know, with a few laps remaining, that could become a factor as well. They won't be able to lay down the fast times because of the tyre degradation. You can see there, got a heavy braking going into that left-hand turn by Coconut. That takes chunks out of the tyres. You know, that's what Formula One tyres are all about. It's about getting traction on the surface, and as soon as you lock those brakes, lock the tyres, you're rubbing rubber away.
Yeah, these tyres aren't supposed to last as long as real life road tyres, because it's all about the grip for the drivers. If you had real life car tyres, don't really know how to describe them really, you'd just be spinning off into the tyre barriers every single turn you do. So
yeah, I'm not sure the compound of a normal tyre would even get up to temperature either.
yeah, these tyres can withstand up to 140 degrees at times for nearly many laps. So Pirelli do a lot of research in the tyres, and will be releasing new tyres in these next coming years in real life, so could see more grip for longer lasting times, or even less grip for more lasting times. I don't really know how to say it, but there'll be definitely changes to the tyres.
And particular tyres as well get more worn than others. Around Suzuka, it's the front left tyre, apparently. Not that I've ever driven around there and had any problems with tyres, but you know, looking at past races, it's that front left that makes teams nervous. So kind of all the monitoring that they have on the cars these days will be keeping a very close eye on that. You know, we've got a shortish 27 lap race, so I don't think it will come down to tyres that go that badly wrong that will take them out of the race.
Yeah, this is the only figure eight circuit we have on the calendar here in F1. So it's also one of the most technical ones for the tyres as well, because, as you said, the front lefts do degrade more because most turns are a left-hand turn. Well, most fast turns, except for 130R, which does put a lot of graining on the front right tyres, but at least that doesn't happen for every single corner, because the drivers won't have a single front end to actually turn the car.
And it's around the 130R that you get the crossover of the track, which is quite unique about Suzuka as well. There's not many tracks like that around the world where you cross over another element. So as you come round the hairpin, you're then crossing over the track that you passed earlier in the lap.
Dominique now in the chat said he just ended it because he spun and clipped the pit entry wall.
Oh gosh, that is painful. Not only for the driver, if you were the real driver in the car, because I think that would probably hurt quite a bit. Oh gosh, and just as we're talking about Dominic losing control, so too was Coconut there, who has managed to close. Look, while we've been chatting, that interval between Gmol and Coconut has come down significantly. It was up to 3.5 seconds. It's now back down to 1.2.
Very impressive from Coconut here, after just being disqualified from the session of qualifying, starting at the last in P7, now in contending for P1. So very great racing from him, as well as his teammate in P4. So very good teamwork from the RB, except for that qualifying incident that they had midway through.
Maybe that was planned all along. It was just all showboating. But the drivers behind Gmol now have to be super careful, because if you pick up a penalty with very little time to serve the penalty, and almost more importantly, little time to make up the time lost as a result of the penalty, is going to lose you places. So you've got to stay on the track, you've got to stop making contact, you've got to get to the finish line without penalties.
Yeah, I think most drivers are on the hard compound. I think every single driver's on the hard compound. As we see, no, I was wrong actually. Bottom two drivers are both on the mediums here. They it just goes to show how great the hards can last, even though they are the least grippiest tyres. But I've just realised while we were talking, Coconut's just gained another 5 or 8 tenths on
in
Gmol.
DRS range, right hot on the heels of Gmol 7.
Yeah, and then also there's more yellow flags on Potato Pilot. I think he just might have had a bad exit out of the spoon curve. But now Coconut in that DRS range, there's only one DRS available on this track, so you really have to decide on your lap. Are you going to make the overtake down the inside, turn 1, 2, hairpin, or are you going to make that easy around the outside, inside, middle, whatever, on the DRS straight? So it's going to be a hard decision, or maybe, as we saw earlier, around the outside at 130R.
Here we go. Got anything in the tank?
Definitely has a lot of battery.
Oh, and look down the left, then look down the right. And we saw Gmol going off the track there. I think Gmol had to give up the track position there as a result, and Coconut takes the lead.
Yeah, another questioning overtake really there. Just drivers going wide, missing their braking points. I don't know if they still have the braking marker there of the 100-meter board, because that is the most average way to brake into the last chicane. But now Coconut coming now into the first place position, gaining 6 places from disqualification and starting in 7th, so looking like one of his best races for him, and will definitely be awarded driver of the day if he manages to finish.
So RB in P1, the Alpine currently now 7 tenths almost behind. Gmol also with the 10-second penalty. Dory Beast has gone into the pits.
Wow, I don't really know what happened. Maybe getting rid of a 10-second time penalty. I think he got rid of that earlier, but maybe just being aware if there's going to be another safety car.
I was going to say, I think Dory Beast is banking on a final safety car at this Suzuka Grand Prix, and who would rule it out as well with what we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's just starting to be relaxing now after all that talking and all that crazy, dramatic overtaking, crashing, everything happening around here in Japan, Suzuka.
I tell you where it's not relaxing, and that is in the driver's seat for Coconut, because when you are leading and you've got everyone chasing you, that's when you feel the pressure, and that's when you'll be forced into making some mistakes. You know, you just got to keep it on track, do what you're doing in practice, which a lot of these drivers have been doing in the run up to the race today. But it's just completely different when you're in the race scenario. You feel under pressure, you're looking behind you, literally, for the next attack. And we know that Gmol has the capability of doing that as well, although at the moment out of DRS range.
Yeah, Coconut taking that advantage of his pace, overtaking Gmol, and now looks like he's going to win the race. But can we see the gap between everybody? Gmol looks like he's going to be finishing P3 maybe here in Suzuka, so not a bad finish for him unless he does make a mistake, which most drivers have done because of all that contact going 2 wide, 3 wide into most corners, so everything's been very close here in Japan.
I'm wondering what Hog Club's doing. Going into the pit, maybe putting on some softs to get the fastest lap?
Well, we can check the details now. On both.
Oh, I think I might be right. Soft tyres going on for the last 5 laps of the race for Hog Club. Maybe we'll see something special.
Well, hopefully no crashes, because they will be driving their all on these final last laps. They can try to get that fast lap in. So just hoping for no crashes and hoping for really fast times to come in. But Coconut just increasing that time to Gmol behind him. Very amazing and great debut for Gmol here now, after not being able to race because of the PS servers. And
seriously impressive.
Yeah, supposedly, or provisional P2.
And Dory Beast now with the soft tyres on, it's watching that time come down is like watching a clock count backwards, as the gap between Dory Beast and Potato Pilot is gone from 25 seconds to down to nearly 22. There's still enough laps in this race to gain a position if things continue to go in that direction.
The Red Bull and RB, both of the Red Bull family, maybe they're on a voice chat together talking about their strategies to get that fastest lap, but I wouldn't think so, because Dory Beast and Coconut are both on their own VC as teammates together. I saw they were warming up just before the race, doing their own 5-lappers of Japan just to warm up. It looks like it's been going well for the RB team. I don't know what that'll be for the standings, but it's looking close because, or I should actually point out first, is both RBs won't be getting double points because they did not get...
Because they didn't have server issues.
Yes.
Yeah, with the PlayStation server. Okay, so we are looking at Dory Beast and the Hog Club. They could get double points. Is that what we're saying?
As well as Gmol.
As well as Gmol. Okay.
So
that will make a huge difference.
I think it's Gmol actually. I don't really know. I could check now to just make sure, but I think it is. So he could even have more points than or now, as Stephen has just pointed out, he is on the Xbox. We should have read that.
It looks like an Xbox. It looks like the Xbox logo.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. So I think the Hog Club is the only driver for PlayStation double points. So yeah, so maybe he'll come on top, or not on top, but we'll have definitely more points rather than the position for the end of the Grand Prix.
Let's get a sense of following Coconut here on lap 24 out of 27 through sector 1. Let's see what time he's going to register. He's 0.3 off his best. He is 19 laps on the hard tyre compound at the moment, so he's never going to be getting probably the fastest lap at the moment.
But Hog Club now with the fastest time out of all drivers, looking good, especially with those double points. I don't know if we'll be awarding the fastest time point with extra points, which will only add up to 2, but it'll be hard to decide after all those points.
If you're feeling generous, I think that would be much appreciated by Hog Club after a pretty torrid race, but actually going in there and registering, getting the softs on, getting the fastest lap so far. But there's still 3 laps to go.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very tight fight now between the Hog Club and Dory Beast, because we'll check now. Yeah, Dory Beast has been saving his battery to go for that fastest lap, but that's just compromised him because the Hog Club behind him will now be in DRS range, which will cause him probably to be overtaken.
Yeah. Here we go. It looks like Dory Beast Hog Club is lining up. Oh, gosh.
Very close there into 130R. Now coming into the bus stop chicane. Need better traction. Hog Club does not have enough ERS to really blast it down the main straight. And is that DRS? Yeah, he does have DRS, just a glitch on the game's UI. Just going to give him...
Oh, and he's almost out. Look, 6%. He's recharging again, but the tank's almost empty, and there's some contact. Contact there.
Apparently, in the chat, Hog Club is using his AI, and we do set the AI to the fastest level, and there's just been more contact. Dory Beast that's just ruined his race.
Goodness me. And after going onto the softs and clawing that time back to get back into a race with the Hog Club there, is now back in P5.
Oh, this has been a very close race between every single driver, so a round of applause to them for giving mostly clean racing, but very, very aggressive defending from most drivers as well, I should point out, because many crashes have been coming there and there, especially in the Degner curves and Casio triangle chicane, so most drivers are just wanting to get the better position.
Now, Gmo will be looking, I would imagine, very closely at the gap between himself and Potato Pilot.
Hog Club, I think he's just retired. The Hog Club's just retired. I don't know what's happened. I think he's just given back the position because apparently there's been a team call from one of the drivers saying that the Hog Club was using the AI to catch up, apparently, because the AI is the quickest. We put it to, so I think he's just given back the position because he's been caught out for illegal AI taking over.
Okay. So Gmol at the moment has a healthy gap to Potato Pilot. Don't forget, has to serve the 10-second penalty going over the start-finish line.
So 7-second gap, sorry. 7-second gap will split Potato Pilot and Gmol, it looks like, by the end of the race. So Gmal just has to keep his normal pace and should be fine there. Hog Club definitely avoiding a penalty after giving back that position to Dory Beast after doing illegal AI taking over, which does cause you to go much faster, which might have given him the extra fastest lap, so you don't know, we might have to take that away from him.
That's controversial, isn't it?
Very. So it's going
Stay tuned, everyone.
I don't think it'll be decided during the stream, but it'll definitely be decided after the stream when we're talking to our steward, Venny. He is in the chat if you want to say hello to him there. But if you've liked our commentating, we're always out there for having a donation given to us, which will help grow our community in FTR, so it'll be very much appreciated.
Might help Jake get a better co-commentator as well, before Joseph comes back from sunning himself in Turkey.
The thing is, I feel like Steven needs a better commentator because I don't really know what to say. Because even though I have so many facts here on the table, there's just everything's been happening too fast.
Well, the facts go out the window when this kind of race happens, which was highly unpredictable. But we're into the final lap.
Wow, it's been going fast because of everything that's been happening. We haven't been focusing on the laps at all, but we'll come on board Coconut here.
I think that's fair, isn't it? On the final lap of the race, through Sector 2.
So, as we see now, Coconut coming past 130R. We don't have a description to say anything about him, but after exiting 130R, it's looking good. He will come across the line soon to win his first Grand Prix for FTR in his second ever race. Coconut will come across the line to win the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka, and what a win! From 7th to 1st.
Fantastic. Fist pumping there. Well deserved and a joy to watch.
Well, after getting disqualified Oh, that's just been a 10-second penalty that he had previously. But after getting disqualified, uh, starting in 7th to after 2 safety cars, I think
Yeah.
it was, coming into 1st, you have to call him the driver of the day there, most definitely, after that result. As now we see the Hog Club not having a great first impression for his first race in full throttle racing, but can say he is in the points, so could nothing really to complain about that really after giving his drive to the AI, but good sportsmanship there for giving back the position and making a big gap. So
Fastest lap of the race as well.
well, it could be changed after, but you never know. But coming across the line to conclude the Japanese Grand Prix, I'd have to say what a race.
Yeah, that was fantastic. From start to finish, absolute excitement. In the qualifying, we had contact between 2 teammates. We had Dominique qualifying in P1, down to the first corner there, and he lost that. And with a bit of contact, ended up down at P4. Then it looked like Dominique was back in after the safety car. And then absolute calamity by the pit lane entrance there, which ended Dominique's race. And he's not on the podium this time around. We have a new winner.
Coconut. Wow, what a great result for the RB team, as well as a newcomer in 2nd place for the Alpine. What a drive for most debut drivers out here in Japan. Very tricky track. Luckily no rain, because if there was rainfall, it'd be a very different race. Might even finish just with 3 drivers. So very close from everyone out here today, and an applause for everyone that has raced today.
Yeah, no rain. It's raining champagne there on the podium instead. So just steady where you're stepping. Probably pretty slippery.
Yeah, definitely many celebrations from Coconut, Gmail and Potato Pilot with concluding that race. Very close race from everybody. The fastest lap was 2 seconds faster than every single driver, but I think they'll have to be taken away. If it's 2 seconds faster than the fastest driver, then that's a pretty
The whole club, I've got your back. You get my vote, but I'm not the one that makes the decisions. So we'll have to see.
And now we'll try to interview the drivers. We'll interview the top 3 coming from Potato Pilot to Gmail to Coconut. So we'll try to get them on air and hopefully they respond to our calls. As we're now calling Potato Pilot now to see if he'll answer.
He's probably taking on water after that race.
Well done. Great P3 out there. How do you feel about the race? How did you feel about the race out there?
I threw away a P2.
Well, it was very close. At least you finished P3. It was very close for every single driver. You really stayed out of all that contact and spinning there, really, compared to everyone else. So you have to be happy with that.
I spinned like 10 times, and basically, I don't know when it was, but I was driving in P5 then. Luckily or not luckily for him, Dominic DNF'd, and then the safety car came out, so I could make up some positions.
Yeah, we all have to feel for both drivers that crashed out there because they were just mostly unlucky crashes. Well, hopefully you have a good race and see you in the next one.
Thank you, bye,
Good
take
luck.
care.
Bye. So, nice to see Potato Pilot feeling bad for the Dominique after expecting to win the race to going to 0 to 0 basically. And now
It's a long season, so there's plenty of time for Dominique to come back, and the next race is just a week away as well. So he could be back on top.
trying to find out who Gmal is because I think his name is different to his Discord name. So we're gonna have to ask our Discord server to see who that is because it's kind of annoying people have different names.
Gmo, you need to tell us what your real true identity is. The questions I'd be asking some of these drivers is, did it feel as technical as it looked as a commentator, as a spectator of this race? Because it looked like, some of those drivers were really kind of struggling with getting around this circuit, and they were punished. Like when they made little mistakes, it punished them big.
now calling George M7. How was that race out there? How did you feel?
Yeah.
It was very close, very good debut race for FTR, finishing in
Yeah,
second.
thanks.
Do you have anything to say really about all that driving out there?
I could have won if I knew that you could do the penalty under the safety car.
Yeah, it's very hard to decide, especially under pressure. So, well,
Yeah.
because we need to get on to the first driver, because we are running out of time.
Gmo, well played though. How technical was that circuit? How hard was it to race around Suzuka?
Very tricky to start, but I got into it at the end.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and it was a race where the safety car ended up probably impacting a lot of people's races today.
Yeah.
Well played.
Great as well.
Great racing.
Well, see you next time. Hopefully for next week's race. Good luck and make sure you warm up for that.
All right. Cool.
Have a good week.
Thanks.
Bye.
You too.
As now we'll try to interview Coconut, our race winner. Very good race. You probably have a lot to say after all of that.
I want to talk to Coconut about all the contact during that race, and whether that was surprising to them. It surprised me. Some bold moves.
Hello, Coconut. How did you feel about that race?
It was alright.
But it wasn't really alright. It was pretty good. Starting from 7th after disqualified from qualifying to first. So I would be more happy if I was you.
To be honest, I would have expected me being on the podium, given I'm top 400 in the leaderboard. So, yeah. But I do feel bad with what happened with Dom. I don't know what happened. I think he might have just lost focus and went to the pit wall. And I think with Guillermo, he had wing damage, so that's why he lost P1.
Oh, yeah, we couldn't really tell that from our broadcast.
Well, there was a lot of carbon fibre flying all over the place, Coconut. What was it like? There was more contact there than we were expecting.
It's obviously some dirty driving. Don't really have to explain it. It was obviously on the stream. Other than that, smooth riding. Me and my teammate, we did perfect communication. We worked together to try to get up the grid. And overall, we got P1 and P4.
It wasn't quite Kimi Räikkönen from 2005 coming from 17th to win the race, but nevertheless, 6 positions gained over the course of the race. Well done, very impressive.
Thank you.
And also, before we leave you, what happened during qualifying with your teammate? We were pretty questioning about that.
Was that planned?
Well, I think what happened was he went on the grass and he rejoined when I was right behind him. So I think I might have tapped his rear, send him.
That's a rather polite way of putting it. You may have tapped his rear. I think we'll probably end on that note.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully see you next time for next week's race, and good luck for warming up for that.
Yep, and well done for commentating.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, see you next week.
Yep, see ya.
Bye.
Well, Jake, that was an exciting race. Final thoughts?
Just very aggressive, very hectic out there, really. 2 safety cars. I guess I was expecting that, really, because of how aggressive you have to be on the steering wheel. Just so much spinning around for the rear tyres, losing grip. So I'd like to conclude that with an amazing,
Thumbs up. Well done, everyone. The stewards still have their work. They're not going to have an early night. They're going to have to be reviewing lots of video footage, and look out for the updates on that.
Well, I'd like to conclude the Japanese Grand Prix. Thank you, everyone that's watched out for the whole time through the stream, and we would like to see you next week's race. Thank you.